Mr. Beak's math class. Mr. Beak's math class. Yeah! Woo!
All right, thanks for joining me. 1.3, day 2, variables on both sides. This is going to be a big lesson, all right? So hopefully by the end of the day you can say I can solve these. These standards, we got a lot of important ones, so just so you know. All right, now before I start the math stuff, I'm going to ask a very kind of weird question for those of you listening to me, or I'm going to give you weird instructions, I guess, all right? I'm going to tell you, stand up out of your chair right now or wherever you're sitting. So just stand up, okay? And raise your right hand as high as you can, kind of like a stretch, just like reach way up to the ceiling, okay? If you're doing that, you're probably looking kind of goofy. That's all right, okay? Now what I want you to do is take your left leg and kind of like lift it up so you're standing on one leg and you have your hand raised up at the same time, okay? All right, now you're doing that, okay? I see you people on your couch. Stand up and do that. Raise your right hand, raise your left leg, and you're balancing, okay? All on that right side. It feels awkward, okay? We're going to try to do that this whole equation in while you're balancing there. All right, give it a shot, okay? So first
This
off,
guy
I
thinks he's
have
so
x's on both
cool.
sides. I want to get them all to one side. I'm going to pick the left-hand side because that's my preference, all right? So I got a whole bunch of stuff here. First thing I'm going to always have to do is distribute that first. And so if I have this, right, I'm going to have to distribute that. I have to distribute those ones. So then I get all my parentheses gone, and I'm just doing just a bunch of adding and subtracting, okay? So right away, I'm just going to work through that fast. But that's going to give me 6 minus 3x minus this x that just falls down equals negative 5x. And careful on this one, it's negative 1 times, or negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Okay? Now you're just looking, there's no more parentheses at this step. This is awesome here. So can I combine anything? Well, yeah, these guys right here are on the same half. I don't have to do any like adding and subtracting them over. Those are just smushed together to give me a negative 4x. Let that sink into you, and then 6 falls down. Okay? I didn't add 1x to this side and add 1x to that. I'm not doing any of that right now, okay? I'm just simply combining them because they're on the same half, okay? Now, I didn't do anything with here. Okay, hopefully you guys are still standing up and balancing. I hope that's going all right. You're balancing. All right, now is when I want to move these x's to that way, all right? How do I go about doing that? Well, what is the inverse operation of a negative, of minusing? It's adding, so I'm going to add 5x. Okay? When I do that, wipes it out. I'm gonna write the 6 plus 1x. Okay? Do I have to write the 1? No, but I just will. Okay? And we got that. I'm going to minus the 6 to both sides. And I have 1x, so it's gone, equals negative 11. And that's my final answer, okay? So we're just kind of grouping everything that we already knew how to do. We already knew how to do distributing. We already knew how to do combining like terms. We already knew how to do solving two-step equations. Now it's just together on one big problem. All right, put your hands and legs down and you can stand and you sit back down, get comfy, okay? Get comfy for this next problem. What do we always do first? Well, I just said that. We always distribute first. If we have parentheses, we don't want those parentheses anymore. I like to get my x's all by themselves on the left. That's the final goal. Okay? So what I'm going to do is distribute those. That's going to give me negative 24. Now this is a negative 6, and I'm multiplying by a
This
negative
guy
1x.
thinks
Negative
he's
6
so
times negative
cool.
1 is positive 6x. Lots of people make mistakes on that one, and they write a minus. It's not a minus, okay? If you're not sure, just do what I did and kind of put a box around it so you can visualize, hey, that negative goes with the 1x, right? And equals 12x minus 24. Okay? Since I kind of like to get my x's down on the left, I'm gonna move all the x's and smush those together first. Okay? That means I gotta move this guy, positive 12x over by subtracting 12x. And when I do that, I'm going to just write it right beneath the x's there. And that's going to give me negative 6x for that one. Okay? Didn't touch this negative 24, so that just kind of drops down as a minus 24 minus 6x equals, and that guy's still left right there, so equals a negative 24. You might see a negative 24 on both sides and jump to a conclusion that it's no solution or anything like that, but that's not it. Just keep the process going. I want to add 24 to both sides. I want to add 24 to that side to cancel that. That gives me negative 6x equals. Is this going to be 0? Is it going to be undefined? Is it going to be no solution? It's just the number 0. Okay? That's still a number in our realm, and so we're just going to write it down. And when you divide by negative 6, just punch it on your calculator. You're going to get the number 0. And that is our final answer, because that's what number it is. Okay? So, plug it back in to these x's if you're not sure. Oh man, we're at 5 minutes and 52 seconds. I'm trying to get these done really quick. And so this is our last equation for the day, all right? This one has fractions, and a lot of people just spaz out on fractions. They're like, oh, I don't know how to do those, and they shut down. Okay? Don't shut down. You have a calculator, and you just punch it in. A lot of times, it's going to be, easier numbers. So if you don't know how to type in 1/3 on your calculator, what you can do is 1 divided by 3 and put them both in parentheses. That's one way to type that in. Other people have like a button on their calculator. Mine personally says n over d. The calculator, that means numerator over denominator. And other ones say like ABC or something like that. And that'll you'll just type it in as 1, ABC button, then 3, and that makes a little like thing like that. That looks like 1/3. Okay? But regardless how you do that, we're going to do 1/3 times 18, and that's going to luckily just give us a nice easy 6x. And then we're going to do a 1/3 times 15, which is going to be a nice easy 5. Oh man, that was sweet. All those fractions are gone in one step. And if you did 1/4 times 4, maybe you need a calculator, you're just going to get 1x. So, and 1/4 times 12 is going to be plus 3. Okay?
This guy
It
thinks
really
he's
kind
so
of
cool.
boils down to being pretty simple, right? Now we're at a decent looking one right here. My goal is to get all the x's to the left-hand side, so I see a plus 1x. I'm going to minus 1x. I'm going to be fair and equal and do that over here. 5x plus 5 equals 3. Maybe you might even know the answer from here, but just finish it out. Okay, we're going to minus 5. Minus 5. 5x equals negative 2. Oh, maybe you don't know that one. This one's going to be weird. Okay? When we divide by 5, we're going to get negative 2/5. Now, you might think you did it wrong, but just go back and double check your steps. Okay? Did you do that calculation right? Are your pluses and minuses right? And if you did every step right, which we did, guess what? Your answer is going to be right too. Okay? So in that case, the answer is negative 2/5. Got to trust your math skills. Okay? Hopefully that helps. If you need to pause it and go back and listen, go ahead and do that, right? Whatever helps you learn. So take care.
Mr. Beak's math class. Mr. Beak's math class.